This week on the Beautiful 90, Diallo wins United the Manchester derby. And what I think about that is, I don't blame him for doing that because look, you're like 13th in the league, you're literally mid. 10-man Liverpool scrape a point.
Since he's had that record, he's not contributing as much, I don't think.
Chelsea aim for the title.
If we're not top going into January, I don't know what we've done wrong, basically.
And Spurs sink Southampton.
Surely at this point, you accept Russell Martin is going to get them relegated.
Stick around for the greatest football show on the internet. Hello people, my name's Sameeul. Welcome back to the Beautiful 90, the show that dives into the biggest narratives in English football. Once again, I'm joined by Mr. LDP and Reece. And before we get started, I want to say make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get this video to 50 likes. But yeah, guys, you have to get that in.
I like it.
But we're going to start off, first of all, with the biggest game of the weekend, the Manchester derby. 2-1 to United.
Mid-off, absolute mid-off.
It was a mid-off, but yeah. I think that's a result that paints a big picture of Pep's situation. I mean, I want to start off with Amorim because he done over Pep once, and he's like, you know what, I'll come to the Premier League.
And I'll do it twice in a month, yeah.
And at a certain point, it didn't actually look like that United were going to win. And then 2 goals in the last 4 minutes of the game. And the main man, obviously, was Amad Diallo.
That was a coming of age for him, properly. I've been singing his praises for most weeks. I cannot understand to the life of me what Ten Hag was thinking, why he didn't think Diallo was a good enough player to come and play for him.
Yeah, 100%.
But that game, he just showed up in force, man.
You know what makes me think is, how come, obviously United fans were crying for him to start for the longest time, but Ten Hag was like, you know what, I'll play Anthony here instead. I'm just thinking, like,
fidget spinner on the right.
Yeah, like, what was he doing in training? Was he not looking at Diallo? Because obviously he had a good season at Sunderland beforehand. But you think with quality like Diallo in the team, why not start him? Why do you start? Just because you spent 100 million on a player, why do you have to kind of start Anthony? It kind of makes no sense. But he started into the team and literally he single-handedly won them that game.
Yeah.
There was the penalty shot and the goal right at the end.
The running behind that he did. Oh my God.
There was so Carragher was doing like an analysis of it, and you can see the way he controlled the ball. He was like in the middle. He was in the middle. He looked like like Jumpman, Michael Jordan. Like he was in the air. He controlled it, took it past Edison, one of the best keepers in the world, and just slotted it in to win it in the 90th minute.
Composure.
It was so cold.
Do you think this is like maybe United's fortunes are changing now? Maybe.
I think he made a big shout, leaving Rashford and Garnacho.
Yeah, that was
switch
a
up a formation as well. Yeah.
You know what? What I think about that is, I don't blame him for doing that because look, you're like 13th in the league. You're literally mid. You're mid-table.
Yeah.
So it's like
You're literally mid.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want and it's justified. Like it's not like United and Rashford and Garnacho have got them firing because starting Garnacho and Rashford, it's got them to the point where they're at now. So I have nothing against like Amorim coming in and taking away Rashford and Garnacho at the team and just starting who he thinks is best because it's his new team, it's his new ideas that are in the team.
I thought it was really interesting seeing the reports discussing about trying to clear out, I've forgotten the exact phrasing they used, but essentially saying trying to clear out the old mentality that had been in the dressing room. And I think it's valid. Obviously we all know Rashford's capable of amazing things, obviously, but we don't see it often enough. There's no consistency. He's been in the side for roughly 8 years and has had maybe 3 good to great seasons in that time. So I think it's valid for a manager to come in and be like, cool, I want to establish a new culture, a new mentality. And I don't know if Rashford has a place in the squad in the future.
I think that's what I was going to say. I think it's time for him to go. You can see, this United environment has not been the best for him. He's had, his breakout season was good, and he had that one good season where he kind of scored 20 goals in one season and was their main guy. But other than that, you look at his track record, he hasn't been firing.
No.
And I feel like United fans only cling on to him because he's like a homegrown talent, and outside of football he does amazing things. And no one can deny that. But at the end of the day, the performances he puts together are not it. And I think if he does go to another team, he will definitely he'll find his form again because he's kind of has this tough situation.
I guess one of the things I think on that one is I kind of view it in the case of sometimes even though you've got the attachments and whatever else, it's better for both parties to go your separate ways and both people can blossom instead.
Yeah, 100%.
I think this might be one of those situations for him because, like you're saying, I think wherever Rashford goes and ends up, he'll play well, whether that's at PSG whether that's if he wants to take a sideward step or a downward step into another league or whatever, he'll do well.
I can see him in like a Serie A side or something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Napoli, for example, if he was to go out there and play in one of those teams or so on, I think that'd be great for his career. He could revive himself, and I think it'd be better for Man U to move on as well.
Yeah.
Tomlin's done it, ain't he? He's gone to nothing. He's balling out.
Yeah, exactly. They're top of the league, right? Like,
Yeah.
Is the manager Antonio Conte?
It is.
Yeah,
It is,
so
yeah.
I mean, you probably know all about him, but these guys are.
But he's doing good things, and he's obviously Lukaku has always been a good player, and Conte's getting great things out of Lukaku as usual at Napoli. So
the thing is, with Lukaku, Serie A is his league though. Like, he cleans up there all the time. But yeah, one thing I wanted to bring attention to as well is that Amorim won his first Manchester derby at the Etihad. That's something that Arteta hasn't even done yet. He doesn't have a win at the Etihad, so he's showing signs already that maybe he can achieve something a bit greater.
But you know what though, I want to bring it back to your original question. Don't be wrong, it's amazing that Man U did it, and they were in the game thoroughly throughout it.
Yeah.
But I feel that says more about how poor City were than how good
that's what
United
it's like
were.
the coin.
That's my thoughts on it personally. I think United probably still deserved to lose that game. They were just happy. They were fortunate to have Diallo having an absolute stormer throughout the match. He played well, but then obviously a special few minutes at the end.
Thing is, with City, it's 1 win in 11. That's a relegation for them.
What else than a Welsh name? Yeah, Welsh town, ain't it? Yeah.
But literally, how can you go from being champions to having relegation side form, basically? Like, you know how you had Leicester when they went from a relegation side to champions?
Yeah.
It's like almost the opposite of that. It's kind of hard to like comprehend in a sense. And you think if any other club in the league had that sort of form, the manager would be gone.
Yeah.
But because it's Pep and he has that sort of that credit in the bank to kind of do whatever he wants, he can kind of get away with it, I guess. But
there's a lot of people who do already feel that he should have been joining O'Neill and Martin this weekend.
Definitely. It's because he's Pep. If he wasn't Pep, then, like, for example, if Ten Hag had that form, he's gone. If Amorim, in his first 11 games, he only won 1, he's gone. So it's like, because of Pep, because he's got such a great legacy, he's the only reason he's there. But do you think that kind of puts into question his legacy a little bit? Because, for example, if you think about, like, Sir Alex Ferguson or Mourinho, they've never had, like, a period like this.
Runs this bad.
You can have a legacy, but you can't ruin it, I think.
I was going to say, I
like
think
with Klopp, he knew when to step down at the right time. Like, he's had his run, he's had his trophies, and he knew that was the time for him to go. And Pep, he's off his head, ain't he? Like, he's doing a completely different thing.
he should have walked.
Yeah.
So should have walked in the summer.
They should have gone holding hands together into the sunset. There we go.
Sign off a beautiful 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. But with Pep, like, I think we mentioned this before in a previous episode, like, that's his team. He hasn't spent it any time longer than he has at City. So I feel like he feels like it's his responsibility to make sure he leaves it in a good place. Because you've seen what happened with, like, United once Fergie left, and even like, other clubs, for example. I'm trying to think. But like, yeah, do you know
good example there.
I don't think of one on the top of my head, but for example, when Fergie left, it's the same thing, where you're left in a situation where you kind of don't know what to do, and you can't. It's too much burden on the other manager to come and pick up the pieces.
Fill the booty,
yeah. But no, I do think it does it doesn't tarnish his legacy.
No.
I think like when you put him in like a GOAT manager debate, people are gonna bring that up now. Oh, remember when he went 1 win in 11?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
as long as they still caveat it, do you remember when he went like 5 out of 6 in a row? Like, you know what I mean, it's definitely more in his favour than against him. Let's be real.
But what do you think is the reason for that? Do you know what I mean? What do you think City need to do? Do you know what I mean?
So without a doubt, they need to sort out what they're going to do without Rodri.
Yeah.
Plain and simply, they look lost in midfield, in defence as well.
100%.
And they're still creating attacks and build-up play, but it's just so incoherent. Sorry, discoherent. Because I can't name a single like good fluid play that they had on in the derby where I could say, yeah, they're probably going to score from this. And how un-City is that?
Fowler had 1 chance and that was it.
Yeah, I wonder like what's the dressing room like in that situation right now? Because
probably just hoping not to get shouted at by Pep, and just hoping that he continues hitting himself instead of them.
I feel like they're all resenting Pep a little bit. Like, I don't think it's Pep's going in saying you guys are playing like really bad under me. I feel like they're kind of looking at him thinking you're supposed to be the guy. Like, why are you not? Why are you getting outmaneuvered by everyone? Do you know what I mean? I feel like all the pressure is going on to Pep, and you can see the way scratching his head off.
Every game, like whenever he comes back out from the half-time tunnel, I'm just zooming in on his forehead, bro, seeing if there's those lines.
He had another scratch as well on the back of his head.
So serious, bro. It's making me worried for the dude. Like, yo,
I'm turning into a joke in the post-match interview, don't he? Like, it's proper waffling.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
And my aunt does psychiatry. I might have to like send her a recommendation. Like, yo, have a word with this dude.
Definitely. And you see videos of him on TikTok, just like lashing out at fans on the street and stuff.
Oh, the Liverpool fan, yeah.
Yeah, the Liverpool fan. He squared up to a Liverpool fan.
There is one thing I needed to point out, by the way. What the hell was Walker doing?
Oh,
yeah.
That was one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever seen in my life.
He's not doing himself any favours.
Playing his colour, like,
the VAR, the slow-mo footage of that makes it the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, there's a good like 3 seconds of him.
Where he just stands there and goes,
Yeah, but he's
and then the VAR still give them both a yellow card. It's like,
I felt so bad for Hoyland. Like, don't get me wrong. I appreciate when you go head-to-head with a player, it should be a yellow. You can't be doing any kind of violent action whatsoever. But they're not the same thing.
No.
One of them literally pushes the player over, and then obviously Hoyland stands up and squares up. He's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then Walker does that.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying. I think
And you saying both of those are yellows? Ridiculous.
And also, like, he's known for kind of being like not a hard man, but he's known for being
Yeah, he tries to
a bit of a
tough
hard
guy.
man.
He's trying to be a bit of a tough guy for the
Tough
squad,
guy,
isn't it?
and that, I feel like that's just ruined his reputation completely in one go. But yeah, I think City right now is turning into a top 4 race for them. It's not even a title charge anymore, which is weird.
any European spot will do it,
Yeah, literally, I think it's between, and Louis, you're gonna love this. It's between Liverpool and Chelsea. Actually, both of your lot team Liverpool and Chelsea.
Little promo pick here.
Chelsea 2-1 Brentford.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. This one, there's probably not a huge amount to say.
Yeah.
It was.
I feel like you must have been confident going in because you know Brentford's got a terrible away form.
So I was confident based on that, but it's a weird one where
They've won their last few matches at Stamford Bridge.
There's 2 records coming against each other here because Brentford obviously hadn't won a game away from home this season, but alongside that, they've won every game they've played at Stamford Bridge since they came back to the Prem.
Yeah.
So we haven't beaten them at our home, so that was a huge one for us to be like, cool, are we really about it? Are we better than we were? And obviously we showed up. But it wasn't a simple game. Brentford played brilliantly. Like, I've been singing their praises all season. They have clearly got such a good system under Thomas Frank. The players know how to play together. People like Ryan Yates are playing out their skin to just keep on pushing that team and driving them forwards. I think they've got a great squad and they showed they were good value for it. 2-1 is probably flattering to us. I think probably did deserve a draw, if I'm honest with you.
Bomo took his goal really well.
Brilliant play.
And to be fair with Jackson, he did miss that open goal.
He could have had a hat-trick. That was the closest we've seen to last season.
I thought he was past that. I
said to Louis, Chelsea attackers can walk so that Nunes can run. Like, with Werner, with Havertz, with Jackson, like, they see that they can be so crap, but when they lock in, they're on it. And it's like, they even made Torres crap, like Chelsea.
I'm not taking that slander.
I feel like with Chelsea, only one profile of striker really thrives, and that's that bastard.
Absolute bully striker,
literally, like Diego Costa, Drogba, these sort of players. Like, if you're not like them, I feel like the crowd doesn't receive them well, and they don't really thrive.
No, but you know what? Credit to Jackson, he's taken another route to it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bit pissed at that game because that was one of the moments where I'm trying to get to a point where I don't want people slandering Jackson whatsoever. But moments like that, I'm like, dude, you're too good to be missing from 5 yards
You know, with
out.
Jackson, I look at parts of his game, and some of them are like elite. Like the ball carrying side of it, and just
pressures.
The relentlessness that he has, and also just like running and driving at players almost to get them a bit unnervy.
But that was the closest I've seen to the old Jackson, bro. Like missing tap-ins, like that easy.
Yeah.
A little bit shocking, but thankfully he still gets his goals. Still takes him up to 9 goals for the season. Credit to him. So I'm happy to see the progress. You know.
He took the goal quite well, to be fair.
And that was one of those moments where I'm thinking to myself, like, that was a finish that he wouldn't put away last season, but this one clinical.
And Enzo got an assist for that goal, so that's another game where he's got another goal contribution. And he's really flourishing in this new role that he's been given.
Yeah, Maresca made the right choice pushing him further forwards, and he's paying dividends for it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously we heard about his technical ability, like obviously that's why the price tag was there as well. But in the last 2 years, we haven't really seen that under the managers that he had previously. But now, like, we can kind of see, like, every time he gets the ball, he just does that diagonal switch, and it's always pinpoint perfect to the player's feet. He can take like volleys, playing through balls, And yeah, he looks like the proper player.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised, bro. I was one of the people expecting this to be the season where we're just figuring out how Lavia takes his place, basically.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's a shoe-in to stay at Chelsea, or at least to get us a crazy fee now. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
he looks like he'd be in the team of the season. I'm not even
He
gonna lie.
genuinely could be at this rate. He's been one of the best centre mids in the league this year, which is great. But I do need to touch on the real underlying story for Chelsea this season. Discipline. What the? Like, I know it's the youngest squad in the league. I know we get that every single week. We've broken some record. But it's absurd. Obviously, Cucurella's just been sent off right after the whistle.
He has a high and a low day, and he got his first Chelsea goal, and then he gets sent off right there.
And he was really good throughout the game as well. Literally. But he's one of, I think, 3 other players who are all 1 yellow card away from missing a match because of a ban before the 18-game rule. And then even after that, when it extends up to once you've got, I think it's 8 yellow cards in however many, we've got players who are sitting on that as well. People have already been suspended. Like, it's stupid, and it's gonna really kill us later in the season. Obviously, we've been in a title race, or if you ask Maresca, we are not in a title race. We are not in a title race.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you though. Like, do you think you're in a title race now? Obviously, it's been another week.
Again,
as a Chelsea fan,
we're the first team to go 5 wins in a row this season, which means we're in good form. And that brings me on to my next point, actually, the fixture run. I'm sure you've probably seen for Liverpool, there's been a lot of people comparing Chelsea's and Liverpool's next run of games. If we're not top going into January, I don't know what we've done wrong, basically. Like, our fixture run, we don't have a tough game until we face Man City on the 24th of January now.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly expect us to pick up all the points of our next 6 games.
Yeah, hopefully. You're literally right now, you're 2 points behind Liverpool, but they do have a game in hand, so that's obviously one thing.
But it's Everton when it happens. Obviously, you guys expect to slap Everton, as you usually do, but you just never know.
I'm sad how would draw to Arsenal.
Just to take you back to the Cucurella thing, who's going to take his place now that he's not in the side, and he's quite a key player?
Well, yeah, and obviously we've also got Badu Shields out injured, we've got Fofana's out injured, so we can't even use our centre-backs like we normally would. My guess, Renato Vega, obviously the 12 mil signing from Basel, he's been brilliant.
Chilwell still injured.
Chilwell?
Did you not say his name anymore?
Chilwell doesn't play for Chelsea
Any
anymore.
fullbacks for Chelsea?
It's a peak one for him.
He's still on the books though, right?
He's still on the books, so he's still taking home a good 200k a week or so, but like, Maresca's got no use from apparently, which is a shame for him because he's a good player, he's actually fit, but he's not in the squad, so it will be Gabriel Vega at left back, unless we see something new or we see Colwell pushed out to left back and 3 at the back situation. We'll see. So for this inclusion, I wanted to look at the battle of the Spursiest team because I wanted to know whether it was going to be Postecoglou or Russell Martin who was going to walk after this one. Both teams went into it holding the records for losing the most points for winning positions, so I thought it was either going to be a draw and they both get sacked, or a goal fest, and Southampton let me down. He didn't even break the record for goals conceded. Wasting my time. Both teams crumble under pressure. It's to be expected. Second inclusion, I had Nori trying to scrap the entirety of the Ipswich bench. I thought that was beautiful. Get him in the ring, get his gloves on. He can be there for Usyk or Fury. He's back in case whoever needs him, right?
Yeah. Also, shout out to Matheus Cunha as well. For starting on that security guard. I don't know what he was thinking.
He was losing that battle if that kicked off, but you know what? There's balls in that.
Elbowed his head and took his glasses off as well. You don't know what he was thinking. He was losing his head completely.
Sign him up to TKO Sports, mate. I'm here for it. My third inclusion, Pep Guardiola. I'm trying to figure out, bro, is this a social experiment? Are you just like trying to see how far you can go before you'll get sacked? I'm not sure what the vibe is, but I'm just loving it right now. Right before he went out for his post-game interview, I was literally saying to my friend, we're either going to get really sad Pep or really surreal Pep, and we got surreal and sad Pep. And my fourth contributor to Great Entertainers is Cucurella. That's all.
The other title challenger, let's say, it's Reece, is your team Liverpool, 2-2 at Fulham. Not what you wanted over the weekend.
Robertson, time to learn Arabic, mate. Time to learn Arabic. Oh my god.
Sorry, I really want to hear Arabic spoken with a Scottish accent.
To be fair though, maybe Diop should have been sent off for that challenge that he put on Robertson beforehand. So that's one way you can look at it.
Yeah, well, he's given away 2 penalties in the last 4 games. I think he had one against Real Madrid, one against Southampton.
He's
that
a
red card.
He's a legend though, isn't it? He's a
Even Trent,
hero,
full-back pairing, yeah, probably one of the best.
Yeah.
But nah, he's kind of fell off a bit. Like, obviously Trent, he's still got that passing ability. You know, he's still
a lot
he was
younger
one of the
as well.
best. Yeah, he's a lot younger. But with Robertson, like, obviously he was the top highest assisting defender in Premier League history. Yeah, like 56%. Trent came levelled that probably a bit more now. But since he's had that record, he's not contributing as much, I don't think.
I feel like with Robbo, his entire game is his work rate and his like that engine that he has to just go up and down, and once that kind of loses intensity and he kind of falls a little bit, then he's kind of. I feel like the manager wanted to see himself out a little bit, to be like, Robbo, you're a good servant to the club, but you can't offer us what we need from you anymore.
I think he's a poor man's Leighton Baines.
I don't think he's not as technically adept as Leighton Baines is.
Can't kick a free kick like Baines.
He cannot move that ball like Baines could.
No, but speaking of left back, so we've been linked with Fulham's right back,
Yeah.
Anthony Robinson.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like maybe that was Robinson's audition for Liverpool that game, because I think I was looking at the stats on that game. 41% of Fulham's attacks all came from that left-hand side, and that was all through Robinson, who ended up getting 2 assists that game from left-back position.
That's mad.
Yeah, so you can see like he's putting his name down as one of the best left-backs in the Prem.
Yeah.
And you know what, I was hating on him previously because I thought he was like American, and me, I don't usually rate American ballers. I think they don't play the game properly.
Pussies.
Yeah, but it actually turns out he's actually from Milton Keynes.
Okay.
He just represents America internationally. But yeah, another game.
I find that so funny because I read an article literally this week where Christian Pulisic was like, why are people still hating on Americans in Europe?
I feel like they don't play the game with heart, that's why. They play it like it's for
soccer.
Points. Yeah, for points or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I scored a goal. Like no, like, play with emotions, you know what I mean? But now, like, even though he does play for America, he's born in Milton Keynes.
It makes sense.
Raised in Liverpool, and he seems like one of the best left backs in the league right now.
It makes sense that you got to see, like, as soon as Robinson got sent off, like, we had the same problem for the last half an hour of the pitch where we had that space there and there was just driving it down over each wing and just trying to put crosses in.
And plus, with Liverpool's right hand side, you got Salah, who's known not to help out too much.
He's staying forward, that's like,
and Trent, who's known to be a bit defensively shaky, so maybe it was a bit
That's
easier.
where Gravenberch stepped up. Oh my god, he put in a serious graft in defence.
To be fair, with 10 men, you lost still. I'd say that's a decent result because you lost Robertson quite early in that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like put a rocket up their arse coming after half time. Salah got the assist, and then after that, Jota, oh my god, if he could just not get injured every time a FIFA promo came out. He's had what?
He's the
82 goal contributions in 100 starts for Liverpool.
Yeah, he's great. He's a clinical player, but he's just, you know what they say? They say availability is the best ability.
Yeah.
He's not there.
Yeah,
But his impact. And
What I was gonna ask you is, with Jota like now back in the side, who for you as a Liverpool fan is your best front three?
Salah, Jota,
obviously.
and Diaz.
On the left.
That's what I'm running, yeah.
You don't think maybe Gakpo fits into it, maybe because he's been contributing a lot.
He has, yeah. He has been contributing a lot, but I prefer Diaz's style of play. Like, he's got that little bit of flair on the other side to, you know, like, mug off the defence. Obviously, Salah contributes to that as well. Like, he's a pace as well.
He keeps defenders on.
If Diaz could score or assist for how, to the level of how good of a player he is, you'd have something on your hands.
Like, since he's been injured, so a couple of he has fell off. Like, he doesn't really like normally cut. He used to cut inside and just have a little shot, but he don't do that now.
With Diaz, it's a consistency issue because he has them like purple patches where he scores 3-4 weeks in a row, and you know, scores a hat trick in the Champions League, and you think, yeah, this is the guy. But then out of nowhere for 2-3 weeks, he just doesn't do anything, and it's not like he doesn't do anything. He doesn't look like he wants to do anything. He just kind of holds the ball up.
I do think it's a weird one when you've got that many players who are talented. It means that people do lose their place if they're not showing up. That also means you don't have the room to get things wrong as much as you might do in other situations. Certain people can play themselves through bad form when they're in teams that don't have as much competition. But for your guys, as soon as they're not in form, they're getting replaced. But then the guys who step in aren't consistent enough either.
Yeah, it's like Elliot in the midfield, Jones.
To be fair, I think Elliot's just unfit. I think he needs to go on loan to a club and kind of build himself.
He needs a whole season. He needs a good 40 games in a season.
Yeah, like I always say this to like people who watch Villa games to me, like I would take Harvey Elliott in a heartbeat because I think what he can provide, like coming off the right, and also he can play in that attacking midfield role.
Yeah.
I think he's very like versatile in a sense, and I feel like if you just put him on, give him too long to Villa for one season. You know what I mean? We'll turn him into a proper player. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We'll get that experience under his belt, Champions League.
Yeah,
I can see
stuff
it.
and that.
I can see it.
But yeah, Liverpool's next game is Spurs. And like I said, Spurs is it's kind of the
litmus test,
the litmus
isn't it?
test,
Yeah.
to kind of see if you're a big team or not, let's say. Because obviously they beat City and they beat United.
And then lost to Ipswich.
You know who they didn't beat?
Yeah.
Didn't beat us, mate. They didn't beat
They beat Chelsea, so we'll see how they play against you. Because if you lot beat Spurs, then that means Chelsea and Liverpool are the only two big teams.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
it's, I'm a bit nervous. I'm a bit nervous. We'll be shaky in regards to Chelsea. Like, they are catching up.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I wouldn't mind being having a game in hand and then being at the top all the season. And it just depends on the last day. But I feel like if we don't slip up, again, Chelsea at the top.
One thing I wanted to ask.
Gerrard.
One thing I wanted to ask was obviously the January transfer window is coming up, and obviously as a Liverpool fan, who do you want to see come in? Because so far in the slot, only Keys has come in really.
Who you haven't seen.
I think transfer-wise for Liverpool, definitely something to do in the defence. I mean,
Left back.
I'd say a left back, yeah, but I'd also say a centre back as well, because Kwanzaa, he still doesn't have the experience. But
Konate's out as well.
yeah, Konate's out, but you know, even when he's fit, it's gonna be him and Van Dijk. Realistically, like they are our defence. Gomez, he does put a real shift in when he needs to, but I just feel like another centre back who's mature, but not gonna be on the way out in a couple of seasons. You know, like Van Dijk.
Do you still have Endo on the books?
Yeah, and that's what I think
Ali
we
was
need
in
another,
him
like a
afterwards.
DM, yeah, because McAllister, he plays like an 8 role, but he's typically a 6, isn't he? And Endo doesn't get playing time, so...
Whatever happened to that by Jetic?
He's injured, yeah. Was he on loan now? I actually don't know myself.
Either way, I think he's too young
Yeah,
to kind
for
of
sure.
put your hopes into.
Like, Klopp give him like a season, and he did do all right. Everyone's saying like he's like a regen.
Yeah, but don't you think, for example, just go back to the left back point, might you just play Conor Bradley there maybe?
No, I'm thinking more out right back, really.
I'm pretty sure once Slot did play, I think he played Trent or Bradley left back and then...
It might have been,
the
well,
other
that's
one right
probably
back.
just because Robertson and
Yeah, I mean, you got
Simcast was injured, yeah.
Simcast as well, yeah.
But that's the thing, when you got your young players, you don't really want them out of position too often. You want them to be learning what it is they're going to do when they get to your squad, innit?
100%. I'd say Liverpool just need to buy an experience, not experience, but like a good level centre back.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Kwanzaa's the guy.
No,
And-
it needs to win it.
and
There were
Konate
a few
is-
mistakes in the Newcastle game. Yeah.
I'll be real. I think Konate's been the best centre back in the league this season.
Yeah.
Like based on this season, and now that he's injured, you kind of need someone of his level to just slot in next to Van Dijk.
How bad's his injury, by the way? I'm underway.
I'm not too sure, but it's not.
Might be after
He
Christmas,
won't be back
yeah.
like next week. He's out for a little bit.
Because I'm just thinking, recruiting is so tough when you know that you've got someone like Konate. Like, how many centre backs are you going to be able to bring in who think they're already better than him, or people who are willing to play second fiddle? You know what I mean? I think it's a tough one to recruit.
I mean, we've had a step up from when we was playing Jordan Henderson and Fabinho. That is a big step up, do you know what I mean? But
So I think you guys still finish second in that
Konate,
situation.
it says Konate says unknown return date. Injury, so that's
You're going to have to.
that can't be
yeah,
figured
you
out.
need one, yeah.
Centre back in.
Do you think it is just defence where you make changes then?
defence, yeah, midfield, like I said, McAllister, he plays 6 normally, but he's
Yeah.
an 8 kind of player. Endo doesn't get minutes. Gravenberch, obviously, rightfully sold to be
What,
6
you know what profile you guys don't seem to have is that like Firmino profile that you know I've had in the past of like a creative or
Number 9, yeah.
centre forward. I think maybe if you brought him, I think you get the best out of Salah and maybe Gakpo on the other side.
Yeah.
Because Gakpo is very much like a goal scorer,
Yeah.
winger.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something maybe you can look for the next Firmino regen.
Hopefully, yeah.
Ironically, do you know who I think would actually fit this side despite my consistent hating? Kai Havertz.
Yeah,
Did
maybe.
you not even mention Kai Havertz at Liverpool?
Maybe I can see
When
that. I can see that. To be fair.
was rumoured to have Mbappe come in, and then you just said Kai Havertz. Oh.
hey, Kai Havertz has more Champions Leagues than Mbappe does.
Real.
Maybe one name that I heard got thrown around was João Pedro.
That's an interesting one.
That's out here, like maybe.
'Cause he's got some good link-up play to him, to be fair.
Yeah, so you know he can kind of
And,
provide that Brazilian flair in the centre forward position.
Kudus as well as a Salah replacement. as
Yeah,
well.
maybe.
Yeah.
I think your guys still don't know Mamouche though. That guy, he's too.
Yeah, he's
from Frankfurt. in the
ball,
Bundesliga.
yeah,
Like,
like
he's
the
actually-
Egyptians, yeah.
Can play anywhere in the front three and great. He's Egyptian as well, so it's
Yeah,
like
exactly. It'll fit in, yeah.
passing on the crown and that. But yeah, literally, you don't have Spurs next, and then after you got an easy run of games: Leicester, West Ham. maybe United counting that maybe.
United.
You like dunk on United consistently. Moving on to Spurs Southampton, 5-0. A game in which saw Southampton's manager get the sack at the end of it.
Finally, I'm not going to lie to you. I was firmly of the opinion that after the amount of drubbings they've taken, you just accept the L. I was speaking to my mate who I watched the game with, so I had the Chelsea game on the laptop, I had the Spurs and Saints game on the TV, and I was watching it at the time and thinking to myself, like, surely at this point you accept Russell Martin is going to get them relegated. This was my thoughts prior to watching the match. You accept he's going to get you relegated, have him keep on trying to play his expansive style of football, you'll be the best team in the Championship and you go down, you stand a decent chance of getting bouncing back up next time around. But now I'm like, cool, you sacked your manager, what are you going to do? Because this squad still isn't good enough to keep up.
It's difficult because some teams are like, they're too good for the Championship but not good enough for the Premier.
Yeah, because Southampton they're known for being a yo-yo team in up and down.
They have become that since obviously the glory days of that mid-2010s team, but I don't know, man. I found it...
That team though, Lallana...
The streets will never forget that.
Is it Ricky Lambert?
Ricky Lambert up top. Yeah,
Jay Rodriguez.
Graziano Pelle. You had Jose Font.
Yeah, Mane as well.
Virgil van Dijk.
Van Dijk and Mane.
Fraser Forster was still good then too. That was a squad then. But yeah, streets will never forget that special Spurs team, man. It was a once in a lifetime. Sorry, Saints team. And all the Saints fans, I promise you, they are crying, just clutching their pillows that have those pictures from 2015 on. They're like, man, we beat Inter Milan once upon a time.
So a massive fall from grace. But Spurs needed that win.
They really, really did.
Literally 5 goals in the first half. He was done and dusted. Son looked not back to his best spot.
He was on the score sheet.
He was on the score sheet and he got a couple of assists.
I really wanted him to take the record. I'm not gonna lie. I was here for 10-0.
Yeah.
Put 2 pound Akron, mate. I didn't come through.
I don't think we'll ever see that though.
But also, the only reason I'm a little bit sad about that result is because I was saying, if somehow Russell Martin managed to pull off a win against Spurs, I think it would have been the other way and the other manager would have walked. I think Postecoglou would have been gone if Saints had beat them. I think it really was a battle of the Spurs-iest manager. And in this case, the Spurs 1-1.
Definitely. If Southampton won that game, I think Postecoglou maybe could have gotten the sack.
I think it was a tough one.
They're literally sitting 10th right now. Like that's behind Brighton, Fulham, just above United, Newcastle, Brentford. Like that's Spurs. They have got bigger ambitions than that, so they want to be higher.
And 8 wins trophies in his second season, right?
Allegedly.
It's full of horse. Literally. But one player I want to talk about was Solanke because I'm wondering. Obviously, I put him in my fantasy, so there's a bit of agenda behind this one. I put him in my fantasy. I thought, Southampton is gonna bang.
Fraud wash.
Yeah, he ended up just getting 1 assist, and he wasn't even. It was like a fantasy assist. It wasn't like a honest to God assist. Do you know what I mean? He just touched the ball on the way.
So like a fantasy assist to me is just someone dreaming about it. Like maybe I'll get a good assist.
Yeah, exactly. But like Solanke, he obviously had that great season last season at Bournemouth, and you kind of thought he'd come in and stake his claim as a big Premier League player. He's got the
Harry Kane replacement.
Yeah, but he's been at the right academy. He's been at the Chelsea academy. He played for Liverpool. Like he's had the right coaching and training. So like, why hasn't he kicked on? Do you think he's not in the names with Salah and Haaland and these guys?
So I think without doubt, if we're talking about a career retrospective, he sabotaged himself and set himself back by about 5 years in terms of his development with that whole fiasco, demanding 50k as a 17-year-old striker. And don't get me wrong, him and Tammy Abraham had one of the best youth strike partnerships of all time. It was incredible. But he set himself back by burning the bridges at Chelsea, moved to Liverpool where he was crowded out, didn't stand a chance to get enough game time, and wasn't ready for that move. Moved to Bournemouth, who couldn't figure it out for the best part of 5 years, and then he finally manages to switch on around the same time that Bournemouth do, and that's where we're at now. I think, plain simply, he stunted his own development in a lot of ways, so where now there's still a lot of talent, but I think it's going to take very specific managers, very specific situations where we'll see that from him now.
Yeah. I do want to see the best one because I think he has the makings of someone who can be like a top striker and have a legacy somewhat similar to like Jermaine Defoe. Like, do you know what I mean? Like a good Premier League batsman, but he just needs to get his stuff together basically. And
I think he's got everything he needs. He could have an Ollie Watkins style late career surged into a pure relevance. Because he's 26 or 27.
He's like in his mid-20s.
So like he's definitely at the age where it's like, cool, you should be proving it now. But I'm not writing it off. I think he's a solid enough Premier League striker that in the right systems he will make it happen. I just think Spurs are absolutely dog this season, so this season. But yeah, that's my thoughts on him. I think he'll work out eventually.
Literally the last game we're going to be talking about, pardon me, is Arsenal versus Everton, but let's be honest, lads,
it's all gone downhill since we painted that mural on the wall for Jova. Like, who puts a set piece coach on a mural? Like,
one might call that utter woke nonsense. You know what I'm
saying? Stay tuned.
But yeah,
nah, in regards to that game, I just think Pickford deserves so much more than Everton. Like, how is England's number one playing for a bottom side table team? Like, do you know what I mean?
And they're like Premier League like regulars.
Yeah,
and
like they're out loud the longest team has been in the Premier the longest, but
I feel like if he was at another team, he'd just be like, if he's at a bigger team, he'd just be under scrutiny all the time.
That's my thoughts. I think, don't get me wrong, he's better than Everton, but he's not consistent enough to be a top 6 team either.
Like, I'll be honest, I wouldn't take him over that.
There's a lot of times where I wouldn't have taken him for England.
Oh, not over Martinez, no.
No, definitely not. No. But there's a lot of times where he was still first choice for England, but he wasn't even one of the better keepers in the Prem that season. It's just that his England form keeps on getting him in because he was ridiculously consistent for England. Yeah. But I don't think Pickford for club has ever been Pickford for country standard.
No.
Yeah, 100%. He's always had a mistake in him, or not mistake, but like it comes back to what we were saying about confidence in goalkeepers. Like, he's only 6 foot tall. Obviously, that's tall for a normal person, but for a goalkeeper, when these guys are like 6'7", 6'8", like, you have to be able to impose yourself in a sense, and it feels like he can't really do that compared to the best keepers. But yeah, literally, like Arsenal again dropped points. Just another week.
They're falling, bruv, and I think it's only made worse, obviously, seeing them compared to us, Chelsea doing as well as we have done. Because like I've been saying, they're supposed to be 5 years into their development now, and they're falling away without having actually done enough to show for it. So obviously the question mark's already coming around Arteta, around
how long are you going to give him? Well, genuinely, how long can actually give him?
Yeah, I think maybe if he gets another FA Cup or something at the end of the season, he kind of buys himself a little bit more time. But you need to start seeing signs of league dominance, because I feel like he's not really seen that. Like, they've got amazing players and amazing tactics, but they're lacking this, like, something like this, I don't know, this cultural thing.
It's called a trophy. That's what
that's exactly the lacking.
Yeah, fair play.
I don't know, man. I've said I don't know, man, a lot, but I think Arteta is going to be reaching this ceiling of how far he can take Arsenal very, very soon, because obviously we'll discuss it when we look at transfers in a bit more depth. But I think their squad is peaking. I think they're getting the best that they have to give.
Yeah, definitely. I think it might just be one of them teams that just kind of fade away into mediocrity. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to be remembered. They're not going to be remembered in history because they never won anything, like you said.
Okay, yeah.
Bro, that was music to my ears. That was beautiful. That was a sweet symphony right there.
But yeah.
I don't have any positive predictions for Arsenal this season. I still think they'll make it top 4 just because everyone else is in a battle of being so mid that they can't keep themselves there either.
This does not look good in the Premier League. Like, the way we're talking about it.
It's a mad
It's supposed to be the best league in the world.
This has been so messy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the fact that we're, 16 games in now, and Chelsea's the first team to make it to 5 wins in a row.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff you'd expect out the gate from City or Liverpool to just be doing as standard. And I know there's not many opportunities to do that when you're only, like, that's a third of our games where we've won consistently, but no one's consistent.
Who handed you your last loss in the league?
I think it was you guys.
Yeah, set you up.
Shit all that, but yeah,
that was a good one still.
Alright. It's been such a weird season because obviously when we get to like the later stages of the Champions League and so on now, Liverpool's the only side who's really representing for England. Everyone else isn't consistent. Everyone else is losing a lot of these games when you wouldn't expect.
Don't forget Villa as well.
I was saying Liverpool's the only team representing. But
we're up there. John Duran's goals. Remember them?
True.
Scoring them goals.
Yeah, this season isn't a great representation of the best league in the world, other than for being probably the most competitive. If that's what you want from your football, obviously amazing.
Yeah.
But the standards have been poor in game this year. Especially considering how brilliant the football action we were seeing last season was.
Yeah, hopefully we see a change after the January transfer window and we see some new fresh players coming.
Fresh blood is so needed this season for so many of the teams.
Alright, it's a new segment called Transfer Window. So we're just going to go look over the top 6 teams and see who they need and what profiles need to bring in this January transfer window. So guys, we're going to start off first with Liverpool. We've already identified that they need to bring in a left back. Is there anything more you want to add to that?
Centre back. And maybe a right winger.
Yeah, maybe for as a salary replacement.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've already touched upon that, so we'll just quickly move past that. And then we move on to Chelsea. Anyone that you think should bring in, Louis?
Nice and simple, same situation. We need to sort out centre back partner for Colwell. And goalkeeper, everybody knows Sanchez is not up to scratch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really change anything after that. I think we're good.
Yeah, that's fair enough. After that, we have Arsenal. I think with Arsenal, they just need to bring in a top striker.
Yeah.
Alexander Isak, Victor Osimhen, someone like that. But yeah, if they can get them goals in, then they'll be firing.
They just need to make sure they definitely make Champions League.
Yeah, 100%. It doesn't even look like it's a certainty at this point. But yeah, after that, we got Man City. Gotta say in 5th.
Just sign someone experienced. Someone.
They need to bring back Jesus himself. They can't.
And not Jesus.
Yeah, not Jesus. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, after that, we got Villa. As a Villa fan, I think I should take over this.
Yeah, by all means.
At number 10, we just need a number 10. Like John Duran's gonna be firing. We need someone who can just feed him the passes and just feed it to him. I'm thinking, are there any good number 10s nowadays? Maybe like a Ryan Cherky from Lyon, a bit flary. You can just pass it in.
I like it.
You know, can pick up the spaces. One of them ones, but he's not proven. But yeah, I just say a quality number 10. Ross Barkley's not cutting it, and Buendier's out the side.
And Rodgers is great, but not ready.
Yeah, exactly. He's not really a number 10. He's more like a
Raw winger kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. I don't even know. I can't even describe him. He
More
likes to
talented. Just
yeah,
right.
he's a dribbler. He just likes to dribble the ball. You know, he's not super.
Bro's a
creative.
football pitch.
Yeah. And the last team we're gonna cover is Manchester United. That's a tough one because they need a new manager. They're already bought in. So you know what I mean?
They're a weird one, you know. Like they're the ones who throw a spanner in the works because you could point to any position and say that they're not quite solid there yet.
You know, I think we should look at who should stay. I think that's a better way to.
For United, I think that's a valid one because if I'm honest with you, my only real answer as to who should stay, Yoro and Martinez.
And Diallo.
And Diallo, of course.
And Mainu.
And Mainu, my bad.
That's
okay.
it. Give them a bit of credit.
They got a quartet. They have no real spine there. They got
Other than that, anyone else can go. I think Onana as well. I think Onana's solid.
Solid enough.
Solid. But yeah. That's it. That's the end of the transfer window segment. A quick, short, snappy one for you guys.
This is part 2 of utter woke nonsense. Unless your name is Cole Palmer, yeah, and you can put the ball in the back of the net from a penalty, there is no point in you lot putting the ball a millimetre over the line markings. Even on corners as well, you can't even beat your first man. So do better, and that's what utter woke nonsense.
But yeah, guys, I think that's all we have time for today. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of us. From here at Beautiful90, we'll catch you in the next one.